Yeah, you did last time, but we're talking about.
Ninth, 2025, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We call the meeting to order. Looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes from Monday, June 2nd.
Also move.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
I'll abstain.
Item number one, approve payables of $502,868.85. I know Dean and Mark had some questions. I think
I got my questions answered. I will make a motion to approve the claims.
we have a motion. We have a second.
Second that.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, we have three plats. One was requested by Ralph Von Qualen, owned by OVQ Farm LLC. That one's at Highway 71 and 170th. The second one is requested by Rich Vogel, owned by Earl Vogel, 210th and Granite. And the third one is requested by David Tiefenthaler, owned by Roland Tiefenthaler at 110th and Hawthorne. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, that looked good.
Got a motion?
A motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the three flats. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider item number three, consider for approval, Grease Company fiscal year 26 service agreement renewal. Last year was the first year that we did this where it's a service agreement with the filters. We do have Matt here. Looks like it's a 14.3% increase over the 16,700 from last year up to 19,093. And I think Zach was going to come also, or I asked him to attend, but anybody have any questions for Matt?
What does the increase? Was it parts, labor?
It's mostly labor.
You want to come up here, Matt, and introduce yourself? Sorry. And then hit that black button on the mic.
Sure. One.
Hold that black button down for a second.
Yeah, Matt will reach out to me. Some of it is material, but most of it's labor. We just, we underestimated the amount of time it was gonna take us to do the work. So we're just trying to get some of that back.
And mainly what you're doing is changing filters and just inspecting the. Is it?
Yeah, it's 90% of it's filters.
Might be good.
Try the other one.
There you go. Okay, so it's also.
Okay. Yeah, we're changing filters in all the units. We're doing the dedicated air units monthly. Everything else is quarterly. And then while we're in the units, we're checking condensate traps, different wiring,
Cleaning them.
schematics, just, yeah, the routine things you'd look at.
Okay.
And you stock and inventory those in our building, correct? The filter?
I don't know if we actually keep them in your building or not, but yeah, we have them.
Just curious, is there a way to do maybe like some training in-house so we can maybe decrease that price a little
Yeah, I
bit?
mean, as much as anybody wants to take on, for sure.
Okay.
I just know Zach had said changing filters is a nuisance for him. And he didn't have the time for it. And that's where we started. That was the baseline.
Okay.
And your crew's a couple people or what do you?
I think they send 2 or 3 guys over,
Let's say sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3.
right? Two guys will go faster, 3 guys go faster, 2 guys, a little slower.
It's just a 1 day deal. You do a few hours or what is it a month?
Well, depending on what the workload is, yeah, if they can knock it all out in a day, or it might take them 2 days, just depending on what their other workload is.
Zach, we're asking him questions about the increase, and he said they underestimated how much work it was last year. Do you have any questions for him, or? And isn't that room in the corner over in the basement, don't they stock some of the filters here?
There is some in there,
Yep.
yes. Yep. So what, it's the 15% increase?
14.3, yeah.
I don't know. It's unfortunate I don't have the manpower or the hours to do it myself. That's really, it is helpful. I'd say with that increase, that pushes it over to probably what, over 18,000 a year now.
19,093 now,
So I mean, you're looking at,
almost $2,000 a month,
do I feel like that's justified?
1,500 a month.
Not really.
including the jail.
That the increase is at $25 an hour is an extra 96 hours. Of labor, just say roughly.
And I don't know, I mean, they don't punch a time clock when they come. I do see them here in the hallways and carrying their ladders around, but
You know, I guess I will say too, year one was, I'll say the trial period, because we didn't know exactly. So it was a truly an estimate. So now we've got a year of info to look at. Maybe next year
The
it gets cheaper.
actual-
You know what I mean? Maybe we get more efficient as we continue doing this.
And I would say if we do go with it, I would say. Possibly maybe asking Teresa if we can get a little bit more documentation done. I mean, looking through the contract, just some of the stuff like water heater, checking that out, the mini splits. I mean, checking the condensate, it says cleaning condensation coils. I've never seen any of that done. So, and I'm not saying it's not being done.
Right.
I'm just saying, I know they come here to do the filters. I can vouch for that.
I see them, yeah.
Yes, any of this other stuff I'm not seeing done. Says VRF system, check air codes. We've had plenty of those. We've had a lot of those. Dalton actually just got an email out to Tyler now, because we're having issues. We've had several issues with that, so, maybe just. Hoping to address that, see a little more documentation on some of that stuff getting done. Would help.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are they even sending you like a monthly report or anything that they're,
I'm getting nothing.
okay,
No. The only
Yeah.
time I get a call from the lady at Tree saying, hey, our guys are gonna come tomorrow
okay.
and do the filters.
So, because when I reviewed our, monthly minutes or hours or whatever, they had a description of what they had done. They're not sending that to you. I'll make sure they start doing it.
Yeah, no, I haven't got
Okay.
nothing. And then I'm sure they've done, like the other one I was worried about was like the backflow preventer.
Mhm.
That's gotta get done yearly.
Right.
I'm sure you guys have, but yeah, I haven't seen anything on it.
Okay,
Just to make sure, yeah, everything's kind of getting done.
yeah, they should be sending statements out, whether it's, obviously not billable at that point.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Matt, would you estimate half the time spent at the jail and half here, or is it 2/3 here, 1/3 there, or?
I want to say it was pretty much 50-50.
Okay,
You get like a statement, great, like, hey, we had two people here. Times 6 hours,
Yeah,
times
that's
$100 per
this.
person per hour. So we could have a deal, could we kind of that's what would be nice to
Yeah.
review.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're doing it monthly anyway, so it should be a monthly statement that goes
Right,
out.
right.
It's a zero balance on it, but for sure.
No, it'd be nice to see what what you did. Hey, we replaced 10 filters, one of them was clean, we didn't replace it, or we had to fix,
Yeah.
drain the.
And like Matt said too, like maybe next year, if they get more efficient at it, well, we might also with that being able to be like, hey. We don't really need this or this, let's cut that out, maybe it would help them,
Right.
it would just help.
right before you walked in, somebody asked a question to Matt, could it be something also that is taught to staff here, perhaps some of part of what they're doing?
Not trying to add more to your plate, but it was a training question is so we could eliminate maybe some of this and decrease the price, but still having them help and change
Right.
filters, but
I think it's good to get a set of eyes on just the equipment in general.
Yeah, I do
And then,
too.
I mean, Pingree, evidently you guys have discovered something up there during your routine thing. He acted like on the jail side.
Yeah, and like I said, I haven't seen all the statements, but yeah, more than likely, I know, there's an error code on the VRF over right now that are working through.
Yeah.
There's,
And Peters deal with a drain plugged or something.
That's
like that.
exactly,
Yeah,
you're
it flooded and did that.
Leaked to the roof.
Something that was supposed to be, yeah, kind of in this too. Juice handled it and got it all squared away, but yeah, just. It's just too, I mean, they're up on the roof, they're doing those units, it's just, they're.
I just think an itemized statement would be nice to
This
have.
is what they do, so I mean, it's
I agree.
just to say.
It'd be zero, but I think it'd be good to know, see
Right.
what we're paying for, make sure, I'm sure you're doing a good job. I don't mean that, but I just think we need to have a little more accountability, what we're doing, what's going on and go from there.
Absolutely.
Is that something you'll do if we renew it then, Matt?
Yeah, for sure.
Monthly
I'll-
Informational statement.
Yep, absolutely.
And I don't. Asking Dries to. Show us more, all, I mean, I get it, I mean, I understand where you're wanting to maybe possibly, but I just don't see how that's gonna benefit anything, I mean. As far as trying to knock some of what they're doing out when we start doing it, I mean.
We don't expect you to troubleshoot because you're not,
Well, the
HVAC
filter
guy.
changes are the bulk of the labor hours.
Right.
So do you guys keep a preventative maintenance sheet saying, yes, on this date, we checked, or we changed this filter?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what their records are, but yeah, they've got some sort of checks and balances that make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, correct?
Like I say, I see them here in the hallways and whatever, and there's usually two of them, sometimes three with a ladder and carrying around dirty filters and clean filters.
Yeah, that would be my biggest request, is yeah, like Matt said, they can start getting us the statements on what's actually being done, what's happening, and yeah, like I said, then maybe the following year. If we don't have much issues with a few certain things, and we can knock a couple things out, maybe we can cheapen it up again by next year, or, you know, just kind of. Play it by ear, like you said, it was a learning experience from the first.
Yeah.
Get go, and
We gave you a discount the first year.
Go back and negotiate another one.
So are you gonna kind of guarantee the third year?
Well, like I said, it could get cheaper the third year as we become more efficient.
yeah.
Can
Well,
you put that in writing?
It could be.
Get your labor down from 3
Good.
to 1.
Yeah, I don't know if one guy could do it all in a day, just because I get pulled off.
So we have, item number 3 is service agreement for fiscal year starting July 1 for $19,093. I'm looking.
My last question, and this is no offense to you, we have to do our job to protect the taxpayers. Is there anybody else in the area that does this?
I suppose there is, but they would have to contact us when they had issues with the equipment
Because it's your
controls are in the
equipment.
Building.
Is everything out of warranty now? A year's up.
Substantial completion on the courthouse was, yeah, I think it is.
I
at
think it
this
was
point,
in May.
right? So yeah, 1 year from there. So yeah. Manufacturer warranties are still intact, of course, but the 1 year building warranty is up.
and that is, if you guys read through it, that helps too, if the discount of $5 off it, or.
5%.
If something major
10%.
happens.
10%.
If you uncover something.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
I
even if
did.
something's not uncovered, you know, something unforeseen happens, you're considered a good customer of ours, so you get priority service and a discount.
An emergent, yeah, I read that in the emergency situations. Okay,
Was there a motion?
I'll motion that we approve it with the stipulation that we get a monthly statement from Dries we can kind of review and see what's going on and then go for next year from there. So I'll put a motion in.
I will second
We have a motion and a second.
with
Or
those stipulations with hesitancy.
there any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Matt. Thank you,
Thanks,
Zach.
Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you next year.
Order my calendar.
Item 4, manure management updates. Stangl site, section 17, Washington Township, new soil tests. Twin Hill LLC, what 2 West, section 32, Pleasant Valley Township, change crop rotation or optimum yields. Ben David Clucky, section 33, Eden Township, use manure analysis. Schweers Finisher, section 5, Arcadia Township, annual report. Item number 5, committee reports.
I can go. Last week I was on vacation, so I was unavailable. I don't know if I reported that I did the newspaper radio, but. And this week I don't actually have any. Well, yes, I do. Region 12 on Thursday, the executive council meeting at 12:30. On Thursday.
I go next. Last week I had newspaper radio, Wednesday, I went out to roads, looked at claims. Friday, I went down and signed the E911 funding petition for Jason. I think we all got an email on that. Friday also was a chamber coffee at I Saw the Sign. I did talk to the sheriff and Zach about continuing the contract with Dries. I did do courthouse payables. Saturday, I went to all 4 completed asphalt projects and the Apple Avenue Bridge on Greene County line.
Same.
The only thing left is rumble strips. They should be cut in the new asphalt in the next couple weeks. The flashing red light was installed at 150th and Noble. And Saturday, I also rode with the sheriff's deputy this week. Today is the city council meeting. I do need to meet with the ambulance director on equipment needs. Steph, you might want to touch base on that one too.
Yeah.
Get his email, okay.
Yep.
Friday, at Hub 712, the 7130 is having a chamber coffee. That's all I have.
I go. Last week I had nothing. This week I have conservation today. And I did get
This is for the drone guy.
I got a letter from a resident of Breda, that basically is thanking me, but it's really not my deal. It was more kudos to Zach. We did have a meeting to look at Granite Lane north of Breda. And they wanted it repaved. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. It's a
That road to nowhere.
road to nowhere. But they did go and patch when they did patchworks and fixed it, and they sent a real nice letter. But it's more kudos to Zach for getting it done and fixing some spots that needed to be fixed. So that's all I have for this week. Thank you.
Okay, last week I met with Kimberly Tiefenthaler, talked over some different things. And then that was on Thursday and Wednesday. I did sign some more documents for Head Start. And Friday, I did have an update from the engineer in regard to the construction projects and in regard to the striping of the lines, which I did get an email from down at Manning, and I plan on driving down there yet today to look at that and then explain it to that gentleman. This week, Monday, today, I have the radio and newspaper. And then Thursday I have CCGP executive board meeting.
Should we explain real quick what, so the DOT
Okay,
regulates the fluorescent marking
yeah.
or the markings on the highways, how many pounds of the bead you have to put in per gallon of paint. They increased it. So when it looks like it was a windy day and the center line splattered out or whatever, it will go away, but it can't all adhere. But the state is, or the contractor is
It's-
required by the state to meet the minimum amount of,
It's a DOT specifications.
and
what-
it was increased.
Yeah, and it was increasing it, but you gotta remember that they spray the paint first and the beads come out at a different nozzle, which, you know, you gotta remember those not beads what couldn't come out with this paint at the same time. So there's beads, there's so many coming out there, there's only so much able to stick, you know, by the stripe, and then the rest kind of bounce out, and they've got enough paint on them just to make them adhere for a while. So they're telling us, and this is what Zach has heard from Greene County also and other counties, that within a short period of time that will be gone. They'll wear off because they don't have enough paint around them to adhere for very long.
When I first heard the complaints about it, I thought they were like crooked lines and they were all over. Then I saw a picture and it's like, big deal. It was probably windy. Well, then Zach explained it wasn't wind, it's the process, but it's DOT.
But my understanding, the other two projects did look like they were a lot better. So whether
And
the
it-
contractor changed some things or what, I don't
And
know.
the white lines on none of the 4 roads had it. It was only the center line, only the yellow paint.
So it's because the DOT put more glass beads in for more reflectivity. That's my week. I'll stick with it.
Busy week, Gene. I met with Kimberly Tiefenthaler on Tuesday with CCGP, which was very, very informative. She actually reached out to me and wanted to, since I'm settled in now, go over a few things that's going on. And I learned quite a bit of what they do, what the organization's all about. So a very, very good meeting. Attended Chamber Coffee. I saw the sign also on Friday. That's a pretty cool place too. I've never been there before, but it's looks like they do a lot of good work, got a lot of neat things in there. Friday, then after the Chamber Coffee, I stopped up Secondary Roads. I was gonna ride with Zach, but he's already gone, so I talked with Amy for a while on a few things. And things are going well there. So then I decided to go out and take a look at the bridge, went down at the Green County line and walked down, checked that bridge out. The deck looks pretty well. They got the approach to do yet, and everything is looking pretty good there. It's kind of neat to see. And then Friday night, I just took a cruise and went up all the new roads, went to Litterdale, went to Mount Carmel, went down to Manning. That is so nice, that wide road on Litterdale. That's so nice. And also thanks to Zach, the secondary roads, that flashing light is going, as you said. That was really nice to see. And then the lines, they do look like crap, but like I said, there's nothing we can do about them. It's just a big overspray right in the middle. So this week I'm gonna cruise Route 66, so I don't have anything going on in my agenda this week. So anyway, that's all I have.
On 150th Noble, he's gonna put a new stop sign in too. I don't know if
Stop sign.
he's gonna put a new stop sign on it also.
Is he gonna put a 4x4?
I don't know that for sure.
Sounds like we all went driving this weekend and looked at it.
That light, you could see it from a mile away. I mean, it's
Yeah.
quite a ways away. So that is very nice to see.
Do we have any comments from any of those in attendance? Marcy, you want to come out and talk about that?
Talk about that light.
You can see it from your house and you can't sleep at night. Does it keep you up at night?
No.
Okay. Courtney, next week.
As of now, nothing.
Okay.
A motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.